What if the reason you're stuck isn't because you don't know your purpose? What if you spent years trying to discover your calling, trying to find clarity and trying to hear God's voice, trying to figure out your next step, and the real issue hasn't even been that. It's been something completely different. See, I think there's a lot of kingdom builders walking around believing that they're looking for purpose, when the thing that they're actually looking for is proof. Proof that they matter, proof that they're valuable, proof that what they're building is actually working, proof that they're not wasting their life. And until we deal with that issue, purpose will never feel like enough. I mean, come here. Let me ask you a couple questions. You find yourself checking analytics multiple times a day, looking at likes, views, comments, subscribers, leads. You ever find yourself comparing yourself to others and wonder why they're growing faster? Ever question yourself after a post doesn't have the effect that you think it will? It doesn't perform the same way that you think it would? Or do you ever start a project because maybe this is finally the thing that's gonna work? See, here's what's interesting, right? Most people see those behaviors and assume, I need more discipline, I need more motivation, or I need more consistency. Maybe, but often that's not what's happening at all. See, most kingdom builders tell themselves that they need those things: clarity, direction, discover purpose. And, well, I'm not saying that those things are wrong, but what if purpose isn't the issue? What if the real issue is that we're asking purpose to do something that it was never actually designed to do? Think about it. When a post performs well, you feel great. When something you launch succeeds, then we feel confident. When people pat us on the back and praise the work we're doing, then we feel significant. But when the opposite happens, suddenly we question everything. Why? Well, because somewhere along the way, our identity became attached to our stewardship. You're asking stewardship to provide what only sonship can provide. Let me explain what I mean. Business, stewardship. Ministry, stewardship. Content, stewardship. Leadership, stewardship. Money, wealth, finances, stewardship. But stewardship was never designed to tell us who we are. Stewardship was designed to reveal the things that are under our management, right? We are God's workmanship in Christ, and this is our good works that were created for us to walk out before time began, and it's simply us managing. Identity tells us who we are, and stewardship reveals how you're managing what you've been given, right? Those are two completely different things, and yet many builders have combined them into one thing, and well, that's where all the unnecessary pressures come from. I mean, think about why analytics affect us so much. Seriously, why does a bad post ruin your mood? Or why does another person's success truly make us question our own assignments? And why does a slow month create fear? It's because we're no longer measuring our results, we're measuring ourselves. And well, when we do that, business becomes an emotional roller coaster. Every win makes us feel valuable, but every loss makes us feel insignificant. Every compliment lifts us up, but every bad opinion or bad comment, piece of criticism, knocks us back down. And well, that's not freedom. That's slavery. Here's the shift that changed everything for me. Worth is determined by the price that is willing to be paid, not the opinions of people who didn't pay it. I'm going to say that again. Worth is determined by the price that's paid, not the opinions of people who didn't pay it. So let's just say someone buys a house for $300,000 and people driving down the road say, I would have never paid that much. That's fine. The value is not determined by the people who drive past the house. The value is determined by the people willing to pay the price. And, well, the same thing goes for us. Our worth is not determined by social media. It's not determined by the size of our audience. It's not determined by our critics. It's not determined by the business or our revenue. It's not determined by even how we feel about ourselves. The Father has already settled our value. The price for that value has already been paid, and the verdict has already been given. Before you launched the business, your worth was settled. Think about how freeing that is. Before you had a logo, before you had a website, before you ever had your first client, before you ever made your first dollar, before your post ever was created, your value was established. Which means that the business, the ministry, the calling can add to our worth. It would also mean that it can subtract from our worth. It simply reveals stewardship, but it cannot determine our identity. So what does that actually look like? That means that if you write a post and it doesn't go viral, don't spiral into negativity. It means that if somebody criticizes you, don't collapse and stop doing what you're doing. And it means that if you see someone else being successful, don't feel threatened. It just simply means that your growth is on its own journey. Like, don't abandon your assignment just because, someone else's journey's grown. You're no longer building for acceptance. You're building from acceptance. Let your business become stewardship, ministry, content, leadership. Let it become stewardship. Not identity, not significance, not validation, just stewardship. So maybe the reason that you've been exhausted isn't because you're carrying too much. It's just because you're asking stewardship to carry something it was never designed to carry. Your identity, your significance, and your worth. And well, there's no burden that business, ministry can sustain. But here's the good news. We don't have to keep building like that. The Father has settled our value, and therefore we are free to steward, free to build, free to create, free to serve. And it's not because we're trying to become, but because we know whose we are. Now, if this has resonated with you, I want to encourage you to take the Kingdom Alignment Assessment. Many people think they know what's holding them back, and often the real issue is deeper than they realize. And so the assessment is there to help identify where our leak is actually happening so we can stop guessing and start building with clarity, confidence, and peace. The link is below. And if this has helped you, let me know in the comments.